Hey everyone, we have Supriya Jain here. She's a TEDx speaker and MindValley Certified Life Coach. Also a ghostwriter who writes content for the top tech companies in this country. She's also my mentor. I'm taken a lot of video lessons from her on how to improve my writing. So welcome, Supriya Jain, and we look forward to hear from you, your story and how you got
Thank
started.
you, Raghunath.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me. So first, I would like to know what is it that you ventured from your employment journey at, I think you were working in a tech company and then you moved into a content writer, being a content writer for a company. So how did that transition go?
Okay. Um, so what happened was I grew up in a middle class family, right? A
Right.
lower middle class family, and their aspirations are very boxed. So you have very limited choice in what you can or what you cannot do, and
Right.
you're expected to follow a certain route. So that's what I did. I had two options: either become an engineer or a doctor. So I chose engineering. Then I, of course,
Okay.
said this is not going to pay me enough. So I went ahead and did my MBA. And then after
Okay.
MBA, you get a job. And that's what I was doing.
Right.
But I shifted streams a lot.
Okay.
So in my first year after my MBA, I was a business analyst, which is again like a very typical position, but I wasn't learning
Right.
anything. Right?
Okay.
Coming across new ideas is, I think, very, very inherent to me as a person.
Okay.
And I was getting bored in this role, which was, billable, and the company was getting money and I was getting money, but I wasn't growing. So
Right.
I decided that I'll branch out. So within 6 months of, doing this nothing sort of role, I shifted into learning and development, something I knew
Okay.
nothing about because, engineer and
Right.
finance MBA, and now suddenly I'm into learning and development.
Okay.
Um, and there I got into this communication zone which I never thought I would be able to do, but I really liked. And then
Okay.
the company I was working with, Satyam, and we all know what happened to that, right? So
Yeah.
that tanked, and we had to,
Okay.
like, in the middle of this recessionary phase, find new jobs. So I landed up in CEO's office of this company called Marsh and McLennan, which is a very
Okay.
big global conglomerate. They're like some 14-15 billion dollars now, or maybe even more. Um, so I ended up in the India CEO's office doing some regional strategy. Again, nothing to do with what I had done before.
Right.
But yeah, and then I got married. So you can see how my life progresses, right? It's
Yeah.
like blips and just U-turns and random
Yeah.
things. So when I got married, the CEO was based in Mumbai, and I had to move to
Yeah.
Bangalore.
Okay.
And of course, he's not going to move because of me, like because he's a CEO of a company based in Bombay, and I was a
Yeah.
part of CEO's office, so I had to like look at another role.
Okay.
And that's how I landed up in Wipro. So I've spent total 8 years in corporate, which is where I found my calling, as people,
Okay.
say, very by chance. There was a CEO blog that was written by HR and landed on my desk, and they said, why don't you look at it? And I saw it, and it was rubbish, so I rewrote it,
Okay.
and that sealed my fate. So
Okay.
from then on, for the next 2 years, I was the person who was doing the CEO communication, and I really enjoyed it, because
Okay.
thinking at that level when you're still fairly young in your career is very exciting,
Right.
and it was also being appreciated by literally the entire company, 140,000 people who would open that email every week and say, this is
Okay.
what our CEO has said. And those were my words, of course, his thoughts, but my words. And it was like very satisfying at some level. So I said, this is what I want to do. I know people
Okay.
get paid for it because that time, as a person responsible for thought leadership in Wipro, I had $1 million budget to
Okay.
spend on content creation, right? And this is
Okay.
some 10 years ago now I'm talking about.
Right.
Um, so, so I was paying out those $1 million to content creators, and I was
Okay.
like, hey, I can do that. So that's when I
Got it.
shifted
Okay.
corporate to my own agency. And we offered end-to-end services. It wasn't just content, but we did everything end-to-end, from strategy, positioning, thought leadership, to execution, brand campaigns, etc., for our B2B tech clients. And that's the offering we went to market with. And then again, a switch. 2018, my son was born, so I said,
Right.
no more agency life. I want to do more freelancing, spend less time working, do only 6 hours a day of work, and
Okay.
then time with my son. So I quit the agency that was then earning 4 crores a year
Okay.
and started from scratch. And here I
Okay.
am today. So yeah, long
Amazing.
journey.
Right. So when you transitioned to being a freelancer, what were I'm sure you would have been in a little bit of fear on how it will pan out, and would I get my first client? Where would I get my first client, and how would things progress? So how did that phase of your life go, and how did you handle that?
So I think, again, for a lot of things for us go back to our childhood, right? What we've seen, what we've been through. So I have had this whole turbulent thing anyway, right? So drastic changes weren't very, in fact, I am the kind of person who's a little impulsive, right? So I jump first and then I ask questions later. When I quit my first corporate job also, that was like sitting on a beach in Goa and texting my boss, I've had enough, I'm gonna quit.
Okay.
Monday I'm coming back and putting my papers.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do after? There's no concrete plan. But I have
Okay.
this confidence in my capability that if not this, then something else will work out. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people struggle to make that jump because they don't have the confidence.
Right.
Fear comes when you don't believe in yourself.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if
Got it.
that makes sense, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
if you know for sure you would be able to do this, or no matter what comes your way, you'll be able to do something, then you're
Right.
not afraid, right?
Okay.
Then you're just, and I'm more of a doer anyway, right? So I keep doing things and I solve those problems which are right here, right now. And that one step just becomes something
Okay.
bigger. So yeah, I wouldn't say I was afraid. Everybody else around me was afraid, right? Because I had a
Yeah.
3-month-old baby.
Right.
My husband had passed away, so I was a single
Yeah.
parent. I had quit this company that I had built ground up and was finally profitable. And I was like, sorry, don't want to do it anymore. So
Right.
everybody around me was terrified. What are you going to do? Like, where's the money going to come from?
Right.
And it will come stressed about the money, but I want more time with my son. So yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't say it was fear, but yes, it was a lot of activity because I had to. So I planned stuff out, right? Like, okay, now I'm on ground zero. I have nothing to do, and I signed a non-compete with my previous company, so I couldn't reach out to the same people we were working with. So I had to like start from scratch with brand new clients. Now, where do you find them, right?
Right.
Um, so it was more about, talking to people, figuring out who they know, can somebody give me work, sending out notes and writing some samples and all of that. So it was like hectic activity, but
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't say fear. Chaos,
Okay.
but
Got
not
it.
fear.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So when you found your niche on where you want to take your career as a freelancer, and I'm sure you would have reached out to people whom you want to work for. And how was the response rate like? If you, let's say, outreach to 10 people, how many of them would give a positive response?
Okay, so again, this is something that maybe I haven't done the normal way because a lot of people say, this is my niche. Here are the,
Okay.
here's what I'm going to do, but I didn't do that, right?
Okay.
My niche is writing. I love to write. And like I
Okay.
said, the energy that keeps me going is new ideas and new thoughts and new
Right.
things.
Hmm.
So that's not confined to a niche. Like tech can tell
Okay.
me something, coaching can tell me something else. I mean, I've written on perfumes and detergents and
Okay.
soaps. So, so
Okay.
it's not. I'm not a very big believer in niche. I know people say
Okay.
that a lot, and I think when you're starting out, you should try everything and
Yeah.
then see what resonates with you
Yeah.
best and where you get paid most, and like then build expertise in that area. With me, it
Okay.
was like a bit of reverse because I came with the expertise.
Okay.
So that could have been my niche to start with. But all the tech people that I had already known were not available right now. So I started when in 2018 when I had to just go freelance all over. My first client was a real estate person, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I wouldn't say there was a conversion rate also because I never sent any cold emails. I always have activated my network to do that.
Okay.
Now, I am going to pivot now a little bit because, but even then, in my previous company, when we were building that business and we had reached 4 crores and still growing,
Yeah.
today I think that's like a multi-million-dollar company now with 200 people. My ex-partners are still, in that business.
Okay.
But they have not, even they don't do any cold outreach, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
our business sort of works, and I think we were all firm believers of the fact that people buy from people, right? They don't buy from people
Yeah.
do, but um, for example, if you know me versus an email lands in your inbox and we
Right.
are both offering the same thing, who will you work with?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Chances are more with me because you know me as a person,
Right.
right?
Got
So
it.
what we have spent time and effort on is building a network, right?
Okay.
Who are
Okay.
the people we should know? How can we give to them first, right? How do we help them? How do we connect them? So we even do things like we know a lot of our clients are looking for people in their marketing teams. So we recommend folks, right? Now, if you're a CM of a company, because I recommended you,
Yeah.
chances are you're going to work with me, right? Now,
Right.
it's not like a bribe or something because they are also
Gaining
very
some.
suitable to that position,
Correct.
and we're not unduly influencing anything, but what
Right.
we are saying is, hey, I can add value to your life,
Yeah.
and I can add value to your work, and generally I'm a person that you would want to have a business relationship with. So that's
Right.
basically, so we built the business on relationships, right?
Right. Right.
So the conversion rate has been fantastic most of
Okay.
the time, because it's the other way around. The clients are reaching out to us and saying, hey, you know what, can you do this for us? And then, the conversation just becomes about, okay, what can you deliver? And,
Yeah.
what's going to be the pricing and the structure and the timelines, rather than, hey, I have all of this on offer. And then we upsell to these folks. And then we
Okay.
tell these folks, do you know someone who could, who'd be interested in these services? And then they connect us to their network, and business keeps growing.
Got it.
I don't have an answer on the conversion rate, but yeah, that's my
Yeah.
model of business growth.
Right. I think that's how most of the successful entrepreneurs also work on, because unless you have a network and you activate it, the outreach, the
Yeah.
cold outreach way is fairly, unsuccessful in my own endeavors. Because if I am reaching out like to someone who is complete stranger, he would just kind of ignore my message. But if I am going through someone whom I know and activating with the network within that person, so that is much more easy, and there's a very high conversion rate, like you mentioned. So
Yeah.
amazing.
And I'm sure you've seen that with this book as well,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
If you have if you
Right.
had sent cold messages,
Yeah,
likely people might not have responded. But now if I
right.
connected you with one person, they're connecting you
Absolutely.
with another, they're connecting with
Another.
you another, and then that's
Yeah,
how it's building, right?
absolutely. Yes,
So
yes. Amazing. So, Supriya, when you said that you scale up with the upselling, so how do you understand like the requirement of the person? Is that something you delve deeper by talking to them on a frequent basis, or you kind of know from some other sources that they have this problem and this is something that I can offer, and I go upsell to them?
So when it comes to upselling, it is because you know the client well, right? Or you're
Right.
talking to them, or you're just generally having a conversation. So for example, recently I added a new capability to my offering saying that I can also do end-to-end video production for you. Earlier, I would only write the
Okay.
script, right? Now
Okay.
I know all my clients have a need for video. So
Right.
I just like in my general conversations with them, I say, hey, you know what, this is also something I'm doing. And if you're interested, I
Okay.
could, do that
Help.
for you.
Okay.
So
That's how.
um,
Okay.
that's how it can work.
Okay. And without the people within your network, I mean, there should be someone who's coming into you as an inbound lead, right? So are you also looking at like creating visibility across social media and then getting people from the outside your network kind of zone?
Okay, so right now the place I'm at, So every business has different challenges, right? My
Right.
challenge right now is the ability to deliver. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so till I build a very strong team, I would not be able to take on any new work, right? I'm actually
Right.
leaving business on the table because I
Okay.
don't have people who can deliver it. It is
Okay.
slowly building, but it's something
Okay.
I only took up in January of this year, right?
Oh,
So there is a bit, and I know it might be very different from the other entrepreneurs that you're speaking to, because
yeah.
a lot of times people hustle a lot,
Right.
right? They're constantly working, they're constantly like doing something or the other, trying to figure out where do I make more money, where do I get more clients.
Right.
My situation is flipped. And the
Okay.
reason it's flipped is because I've gone through, you know, a very difficult period in life where I lost my husband and
Yeah.
I had to question everything I was doing, right? Why
Mhm.
am I doing this, right? Why am I working till 2 in the morning? Why am I spending 8, 10, 12 hours on work when what is actually important in life is the people and the relationships that you have or the time that you spend with your loved ones, right?
Right.
So that time, and which is why I left my previous company as well, because,
Okay.
they were spending a lot of time in office and I said our life goals and our work goals are not aligning. So it's just, it was
Right.
very difficult to leave that because, when you build something from the ground
Yeah.
up, you are attached to it in some
Right.
way, but sometimes you have to make those tough calls. And it
Okay.
just like, you know, it didn't, when it doesn't gel, it doesn't gel, right? And you've got to take those decisions. So I don't, uh, I'm not in an expansion mode, if you
Okay.
ask me very honestly,
Okay.
because I'm in a good place in life. Okay.
Okay.
I work 6 hours a day. I take weekends off. I take literally a week.
Right.
Uh, I plan to take 2 months off a year, but it's just like my holidays are more, somehow I travel with my kids. And those are more important things for me, right? Today,
Okay.
if I want to work more, if I want to expand my team, there is definitely a lot of work that could come my way.
Okay.
In fact, like last year also, I left around 25 lakhs on the table because I said there is no bandwidth. And
Okay.
the more you grow your team, and I've seen that side, right? When you
Right.
were 40 people, you're managing people more, um, and you're sort of stepping away from. And I think that the term is, um, a lot of business gurus say that, right? If you're running your business, if you're working in your business, you're self-employed, or if,
Right.
other people work for you, you're a business owner. So I'm self-employed, very happily self-employed,
Okay.
because I don't want to be a business owner.
Okay.
For the simple reason that once you become a business owner, you're like responsible for a lot of people and
Right.
you're beholden to a lot of things, right? Then it becomes
Right.
difficult to say no. Yeah. If I have to
Okay.
pay salaries of 40 people, I
Yeah.
need that money coming in.
Right.
Um, and I need to spend more time with clients. I need to take projects that I may not want to work on. Today,
Okay.
as a self-employed person who is earning more than a seven-figure income,
Right.
I'm in a very chill zone and I like it. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Uh, and plus, I also believe in, making your money work for you. Why should you work
Yeah.
for money?
Got
So
it.
the money that comes in, it gets invested.
Right.
And, when my son grows up, he's going to be a very rich boy. But, but yeah, that's my philosophy. Like live life better and then do as much as you need to work. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe that's a
Got it.
different kind of success. So my definition of success is different.
Got it. I think you're in a, as you said, in an interesting place because you have the control over your time and the work that you do. That's
Yeah.
something that's not achieved by many. I think you have done that in your own.
Yeah.
So
But
Supriya,
I've seen a lot of people,
uh-huh.
sorry.
Good.
No, I was saying a lot of digital entrepreneurs are achieving that. So I know that,
Right.
there are people who have built these online business models where they don't have to spend that much time and the business runs by themselves, who are also living in in the same
Yeah.
space.
Right.
But yeah, like everybody has different ways where they get to where they want to.
Right. With automation and as you said, the digital technology that we have right now, it's
Yeah.
being much more scalable, and we just have a lot of time and
Yeah.
money freedom coming in.
Yeah.
So my next question was on learning. I know you teach others, but how much of your time on a day is going into like learning new stuff and trying to acquire new skills related to your field?
My God, don't ask me these discipline. The one word, actually two words that sort of define my life are chaos and freedom. Okay.
Okay.
So if you ask me what's your routine or what you there's no I have a 5-year-old, okay? My day runs behind him.
Okay. Right.
So, you know, if he has gone to school, this is my work day. If he's off, then it's chutti for me also.
Oh, okay.
If he's
Got it.
sleeping, I can work. If he's up, we are out playing. So it's, you know, I can't say how much time every day, but I do read on a daily basis. I do
Okay.
have programs that I attend. For example,
Okay.
very recently I did a program by Alex Kitoni on copywriting,
Okay.
because I've always admired her and the way she uses words and, how conversational she is and
Right.
the stories she tells, right? So I joined her program and then I'm getting on it at a slow, steady pace. Like you
Okay.
mentioned earlier, I finished my MindValley Life Certification as well,
Yeah.
which was a 4-month program. So a little bit
Okay.
every day or like a binge watch if I get some time. So I can't say how
Right.
much time, but yes, there is learning happening every day. Plus,
Okay.
because I'm in a field where I have to write for other people, there is a
Yeah.
lot that I get to read. I mean, you can't write if
Okay.
you're not reading.
Right.
So that
Got it.
itself is, a learning.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. So while you're working, you're also learning and also reading a lot of stuff that's helpful for you as a personal
Yeah,
sort of growth story as well.
yeah.
That's amazing. So yeah,
And
amazing.
especially my book clients, right? Because they are writing different ideas. So I've
Right.
written like 4 spiritual books till now. So when you
Okay.
read these different concepts, like now you'll say tech is my niche, but I'm writing spiritual books, right? Which is why I'm like very niche agnostic.
Okay.
But when I write those spiritual books, that's also learning, right? Or
Right.
I wrote a book about finance. So that was learning in terms of investing. So when I write for folks, because of their ideas, because of their conversations, I also get to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Okay.
which I don't even need to invest in courses because they are saying so much good stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think you are in a better place in that sense as well, because as you work, you're also doing that learning thing also, which is
Yeah.
contributing to your success. Okay. I mean, thank you so much, Supriya. Amazing thoughts and your journey has been very inspiring for many people, including me. And your resiliency knows no bounds, because I know you are like a single mom working on your own space, self-employed, and you've done an amazing job for sure, helping people as well as you coach other people improve their writing skills. So, any closing
Thank you.
thoughts that you want to leave our viewers with on this channel?
Sure. So I think one thing that I want to tell a lot of people is most people like tell me XYZ and I'll do it, but I sort of feel that's very mechanical.
Right,
There isn't a formula, but you've got to find your own way to it, right? Because everybody's life situation is unique. Everybody does things differently. And even if you do what I have done today, the results might be very different for you, right? So
right.
you've got to first figure out what you want in life
Hmm.
and then figure out how are you going to best get
True.
it.
Right.
And then follow that direction. Yes, learning is important. Learn from everybody, but then
Yeah,
assimilate that learning to figure out what should your path be. Don't just depend on someone to say this person is going to tell me how to be successful, because that's not how
got
it
it.
works.
Right, right. So you should have an open mind and then absorb as much information as you can, and then figure out which
Yeah,
works for you best, and then just
yeah,
continue. Okay,
yeah. I
amazing.
mean, you've got to put some thought in your own life, right? You can't
Right,
just mindlessly live through it.
right.
Uh, you have to have a plan and a design for who you are, what you want.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Yeah,
important.
I've seen this in a lot of successful people. They stick on just like one idea and then stay with it for a very long period of time, and that is giving them a lot of expertise and then the ability to charge premium. So I think that way, the best way to earn like big money is through expertise and excellence. So which
Yeah.
comes with a lot of patience, learning skills. Okay, that's an
I was
amazing.
telling this to someone. I was
Sorry.
telling this to someone just before we got on a call. I was telling this to
Okay.
someone that people don't pay for execution. They
Right.
never pay for execution, and which is why, like in my field, content writers are getting like 50 paisa, 40 paisa, this
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of rubbish rates. Because they're
Right.
executing. People pay for thought process.
Right.
Are you able to think and add value to what they want? And
Okay.
only then you can charge a premium. So you've got to use
Okay.
this. There is just no
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
shortcut to that.
Amazing. Amazing closing thought for our viewers. Thank you so much, Supriya. Absolute delight talking to you as usual. And looking
Thank you,
forward to
Raghunath.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to reading the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.